This was for Hailey and Justin's wedding. And I think people were like a little upset that I went all out, but they didn't care, I don't think. Hailey called me.
Remember when Kylie Jenner broke the internet by wearing what some called the most inappropriate wedding guest dress of all time? We're talking about that liquid gold gown she wore to Justin and Hailey Bieber's lavish South Carolina wedding back in 2019. Well, buckle up, because Kylie just addressed the controversy head on, and what she revealed is absolutely wild. From angry fans threatening to throw wine on her dress to Kylie's bold message to Hailey herself, this story has more layers than you could ever imagine. What's going on, everyone? If you're a fan of celebrity drama, wedding etiquette debates, or just love a good fashion controversy, you're in the right place. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most talked about wedding guest outfits in celebrity history. We're breaking down every single detail of Kylie Jenner's infamous gold dress, the backlash that followed, and the real story behind why she chose to wear it. Trust me, by the end of this video, you're going to see this whole situation in a completely different light. Let's set the scene. It's September 30th, 2019. Justin Bieber and Hailey Baldwin, now Hailey Bieber, are having their second wedding ceremony. Now, technically, they'd already gotten married a year earlier in September 2018 at a New York City courthouse in a super low-key secret ceremony. But this time, they were going all out. We're talking a massive religious ceremony in front of 154 of their closest friends and family at the ultra-luxurious Montage Palmetto Bluff Resort in South Carolina. This wasn't just any wedding, this was a full weekend extravaganza. The night before the ceremony, Justin and Hailey hosted their guests for a pre-wedding sleepover that included a screening of The Notebook, because of course it did. There was bowling, dancing, ice cream, sweets, and basically a carnival-themed party to kick off the festivities. The couple had essentially booked out the entire hotel, which caused its own drama because regular hotel guests were banned from using the spa, pool, and certain restaurants for 48 hours.
Inside Justin and Hailey Bieber's wedding. Talk about a magical night. The Biebers said I do once again on Monday, and you better believe we've got all the details. Let's start with this. Jaylee kissing in the photo booth at the reception.
Imagine booking a luxury vacation and then being told you can't use any of the amenities because Justin Bieber is getting married. The hotel apparently got some pretty angry emails about that. The guest list was absolutely stacked with A-listers. We're talking Kendall Jenner, Katy Perry, Ed Sheeran, Usher, Jaden Smith, Joan Smalls, Justine Skye, Travis Scott, and of course, Justin's manager, Scooter Braun. The Hadid sisters were reportedly invited too. It was basically a who's who of young Hollywood and the music industry. Hailey had her sister Aliyah Baldwin and cousin Ireland Baldwin as her bridesmaids, and both of their families were there in full force. The ceremony itself was held at Somerset Chapel on the resort grounds, and Hailey wore not one, not two, but 3 custom wedding gowns throughout the night. Her main ceremony dress was designed by Off-White and featured the words wedding dress in pearls along the back. Her veil was embroidered with "Till Death Do Us Part" in designer Virgil Abloh's signature block lettering. For the reception, she changed into a rich and Russo silk halter gown, and then later into a floor-length Vera Wang. The whole thing was incredibly elegant, chic, and exactly what you'd expect from a model marrying a pop superstar.
Kylie Jenner is keeping up with one of her viral looks. The Kardashian star reflected on the criticism she received for wearing an unconventional dress to Hailey Bieber and Justin Bieber's wedding in 2018. Telling Vogue in an interview October 22nd, quote, "I think people were a little upset that I went all out."
And then there was Kylie Jenner's dress. Oh boy, where do we even begin? Kylie showed up wearing a one-shoulder metallic gold gown from Australian designer Jeton Couture, and it was absolutely show-stopping. This wasn't just gold fabric. This dress looked like she'd been dipped in liquid gold, like King Midas himself had touched her. The gown featured a daring plunging keyhole cutout right at the chest, and a thigh-high slit that went all the way up to her waist. She paired it with Gauchewara jewels, Stuart Weitzman metallic gold heels, and 2 butterfly accessories, a crystal butterfly hairpin from Elizabeth Stone and a matching Judith Leiber butterfly purse. Her hair was pulled back in a sleek bun, and the whole look was polished, glamorous, and undeniably attention-grabbing. Now here's where things get spicy. If you're loving this drama breakdown and want more celebrity tea, hit that subscribe button real quick so you never miss an update. Almost immediately after Kylie posted photos of her look on Instagram, the internet absolutely exploded. And I mean exploded.
If you have an issue. Probably wouldn't wear this now to someone's wedding, but I think I had the impression that like people were gonna just be going all out, and I love this look. I had one of the best nights, actually.
People had a lot of feelings about this dress. Some fans were blown away by how stunning she looked and praised her for taking a fashion risk. But a significant portion of the internet was not happy at all. In fact, they were furious. The comment section turned into a full-blown debate about wedding etiquette. People were accusing Kylie of trying to upstage the bride, breaking every wedding guest rule in the book, and being completely inappropriate. One user commented, "I can't believe Kylie Jenner wore that gold-painted tinfoil dress to Justin's wedding." Another person said that if a guest pulled a move like this at their wedding, they will kindly be escorted out with a red wine stain down the front of their dress. Yikes, that's a threat of violence over a dress choice, people. The criticism centered around a few key points. First, the color. Gold is an extremely bold, attention-grabbing color that some argue is too close to white or champagne tones that are typically reserved for the bride. Second, the cut of the dress. That plunging keyhole neckline and the thigh-high slit were considered too revealing and sexy for a wedding, especially a religious ceremony. Third, the overall vibe. People felt like Kylie looked fancier than the bride, which is considered a major wedding guest faux pas. The general consensus among critics was that she looked like she should be attending the Oscars, not someone else's wedding.
But Hailey and Justin didn't care, I don't think. Hailey, call me if you have an issue. At the ceremony, the Kylie Cosmetics founder, who shares kids Stormi and Air with ex-Travis Scott, turned heads in a melted gold gown.
Articles started popping up everywhere with headlines like Kylie Jenner accused of trying to outshine Hailey Bieber at her wedding, and Kylie Jenner slammed for inappropriate wedding guest attire. Cosmopolitan UK ran a piece saying Kylie broke all wedding guest rules and did her very best job at upstaging the bride by turning up looking like she should be sitting inside Leonardo DiCaprio's trophy cabinet. That's a pretty savage comparison, not gonna lie. But here's the thing, this controversy didn't just fade away. It became one of those defining celebrity fashion moments that people still talk about years later. The dress became infamous, and for 5 whole years, Kylie stayed relatively quiet about the whole situation. She didn't really address the backlash directly or explain her thought process, until now. Fast forward to October 23rd, 2025. Kylie appeared in Vogue's Life and Look series, where celebrities break down their most iconic fashion moments throughout their careers. When they got to the Bieber wedding dress, Kylie finally opened up about what was going through her mind that night and how she really feels about the controversy.
While the color was already a bold choice, she turned the ensemble into a statement with 2 nature-inspired accessories, a crystal butterfly-shaped hairpin and a matching purse.
"I think people were a little upset that I went all out," Kylie said with a laugh, acknowledging the elephant in the room right away. But then she dropped this gem. "But they didn't care, I don't think. Hailey, call me if you have an issue." That's right, Kylie basically said she doesn't think Justin and Hailey minded her dress at all, and if Hailey has a problem with it, she can pick up the phone and let her know. That's a pretty bold statement to make 6 years after the fact. Kylie went on to explain her reasoning for choosing such an extravagant outfit. "I think I had the impression that people were going to go all out," she said. "I loved this look. I had one of the best nights. I was the last one to leave the wedding." So in Kylie's mind, she thought everyone was going to dress to the nines, and she was just matching the energy of what she expected to be an over-the-top, glamorous affair. And clearly, she had an amazing time because she partied until the very end. However, Kylie did admit that she's grown and evolved since then. "I probably wouldn't wear this now to someone's wedding," she confessed. So while she doesn't regret wearing it at the time and still loves the look, she acknowledges that it might not have been the most appropriate choice for a wedding. That's a pretty mature way to address it, showing growth without completely throwing her younger self under the bus. Now let's talk about the other side of this story. What did Hailey actually think about Kylie's dress? Well, we don't have a direct quote from Hailey addressing it, but sources at the time insisted that the bride and groom were completely fine with it. Multiple insiders said that Justin and Hailey didn't care about Kylie's outfit and weren't offended by it. In fact, some reports suggested that Hailey and Kylie were close friends, so there was an understanding there. And if you look at photos from the wedding, you can see Kylie and Hailey together, smiling and having a good time. There's even a photo of them posing together where they both look happy. So while the internet was losing its collective mind over this dress, the people who were actually at the wedding seemed to be totally fine with it. It's also worth noting that Kylie wasn't the only person who dressed up for this wedding. Kendall Jenner wore a gorgeous dress as well. Other guests were clearly dressed to impress. This wasn't a casual backyard wedding where everyone showed up in sundresses and khakis. This was a luxury resort wedding with private jets, custom champagne bottles for every guest, goodie bags filled with Justin's House of Drew merchandise, and A-list entertainment. The vibe was definitely upscale and glamorous.
Though she looked stunning, several fans on social media believed her dress was too distracting to wear as a wedding guest at the time. Though Kylie, who's now dating Timothée Chalamet, admitted she wouldn't repeat the fashion choice, she doesn't have any regrets.
But here's where the nuance comes in. Even in a fancy wedding setting, there are still unwritten rules about not overshadowing the bride. And that's where opinions differ. Some people think those rules are outdated and that guests should be able to express themselves through fashion. Others think it's a basic sign of respect to dress nicely, but not so extravagantly that you pull focus from the person getting married. The interesting thing about this controversy is that it sparked a much larger conversation about wedding etiquette in the social media age. In the past, if someone wore an inappropriate outfit to a wedding, maybe a few people at the event would gossip about it, but that would be the end of it. But now, with Instagram and Twitter and TikTok, wedding fashion choices are dissected by millions of people around the world. Every detail is scrutinized, debated, and turned into content. And Kylie's not the only one in her family who's dealt with this kind of backlash. Her sister Kendall faced similar criticism in 2022 when she wore a racy monote dress to her friend Lauren Perez's wedding. That dress was also considered too revealing and attention-grabbing for a wedding. When someone commented that the outfit was inappropriate, Kendall clapped back, saying that Lauren obviously asked for her approval in advance. So it seems like in the Kardashian-Jenner world, they run these bold fashion choices by the bride first. Did Kylie get approval from Hailey before wearing that gold dress? We don't know for sure, but given that Kylie confidently told Hailey to call her if she has an issue, it seems like there was probably some communication beforehand. Or at the very least, Kylie is confident that Hailey wasn't bothered by it. Let's talk about the dress itself from a fashion perspective, because love it or hate it, it's objectively stunning. Jeton Couture is a Melbourne-based design house known for creating these incredible sculptural gowns that look like works of art. That gold dress wasn't just thrown together, it was meticulously crafted to fit Kylie's body like a second skin. Photos from the designer showed close-up details of how the fabric draped and moved. It was the kind of dress that probably took hundreds of hours to create. Interestingly, Kylie wasn't the only celebrity to wear a Jeton Couture gold dress around that time. Australian influencer Nadia Bartel wore what appeared to be the same or a very similar gold gown, and it made headlines too. So this dress was clearly having a moment in high fashion circles. It was the kind of statement piece that fashion lovers dream about wearing. The butterfly accessories were also a nice touch. Butterflies symbolize transformation and new beginnings, which is actually pretty appropriate for a wedding when you think about it. They added a whimsical, nature-inspired element to an otherwise ultra-glamorous look. The whole ensemble was cohesive and well thought out. This wasn't a case of someone just throwing on a random dress. Kylie clearly put effort into creating a complete look. Now let's address something that often gets overlooked in this conversation. Kylie was recovering from an illness during this time. In the days leading up to the wedding, she'd been hospitalized with flu-like symptoms. She had to miss the Emmys, where she was supposed to be a presenter, and she also missed Paris Fashion Week, where she was supposed to celebrate her Kylie Cosmetics collaboration with Balmain. On the Thursday before the Sunday wedding, she posted on Instagram that she was feeling so much better, so the fact that she even made it to the wedding was kind of a big deal. Maybe that context affected her dress choice. Maybe she wanted to really show up and show out because she'd been sick and missed other important events. Maybe getting all dressed up and feeling glamorous was part of her feeling better and celebrating her recovery. We don't know, but it adds an interesting layer to the story. Another angle that's worth considering is Kylie's relationship with the Biebers. Kylie has been friends with Justin for years. She talked about their friendship in a 2016 Elle UK interview and has posted about supporting him at various events throughout the years. When Kylie went on vacation for her daughter Stormi's first birthday in January 2019, Justin even jokingly commented on her Instagram, asking where his and Hailey's invite was. Kylie responded saying the lovebirds could come next time, so there was clearly a friendly, joking relationship there. If Kylie and Justin have been friends for that long, and if she's also friends with Hailey, then maybe wearing a bold dress to their wedding was her way of celebrating them. Maybe in their friend group, that kind of fashion statement is appreciated rather than seen as disrespectful. Different social circles have different norms, and what's considered inappropriate in one group might be totally acceptable in another. The timing of Kylie addressing this controversy is also interesting. It's been 6 years since the wedding, and she's choosing to talk about it now. Why? Well, she's currently dating Timothée Chalamet, and she recently celebrated the 10-year anniversary of Kylie Cosmetics by bringing back her King Kylie persona and her original lip kits. She's in this reflective, nostalgic phase of her career where she's looking back at defining moments and owning her fashion evolution. By addressing the dress in Vogue's Life and Look series, she's taking control of the narrative. Instead of letting people continue to speculate and criticize, she's saying, yeah, I wore that dress, I loved it, I had an amazing time, and if the bride had a problem with it, she would have told me. That's a power move. She's not apologizing profusely or acting like she made some huge mistake. She's standing by her choice while also acknowledging that she's matured and might make a different choice today. And honestly, that's probably the healthiest way to look back at controversial moments from your past. You can appreciate who you were and the choices you made at that time, while also recognizing that you've grown and evolved. Kylie was 22 years old when she wore that dress. She's 28 now. 6 years is a long time, especially in your 20s. Of course, her perspective on wedding attire might have changed. The fact that she said she was the last one to leave the wedding is also telling. If she'd truly committed some massive social faux pas that ruined the night, would she have stayed until the very end? Probably not. The fact that she felt comfortable enough to party all night suggests that the vibe at the wedding was good and that people weren't actually upset with her in the moment. The controversy mostly came from people online who weren't even there. This whole situation also highlights the impossible standards that celebrities, especially women in the spotlight, face when it comes to fashion. If Kylie had worn something too simple or understated, people might have criticized her for not trying hard enough or for being disrespectful by not dressing up for such an important occasion. But because she went all out, she got criticized for trying too hard and being too extra. It's a no-win situation. And let's be real, part of the reason this dress got so much attention is because Kylie is Kylie Jenner. She's one of the most followed people on Instagram. Everything she does gets magnified and scrutinized. If a less famous person had worn that exact same dress to that exact same wedding, it probably wouldn't have become international news. But because it's Kylie with her massive platform and influence, it became a whole thing. The Kardashian-Jenner family in general tends to attract controversy around their fashion choices. They're known for pushing boundaries, taking risks, and not really caring what people think. That's part of their brand. So in a way, Kylie wearing a controversial dress to a high-profile wedding is very on brand for her family. They thrive on attention, whether it's positive or negative. Looking at the photos from the wedding now, with years of distance and perspective, the dress honestly doesn't seem that outrageous. Yes, it's gold. Yes, it's sexy. Yes, it's attention-grabbing. But it's also beautiful, well-made, and fashion-forward. In the context of a luxury celebrity wedding where people are expected to dress up, it doesn't seem wildly out of place. Hailey herself wore 3 different gowns and clearly wanted this to be a fashion moment. So having guests who also brought their fashion A-game doesn't seem inappropriate. The wine-stained threat that person made in the comments is actually way more shocking than the dress itself when you think about it. Imagine being so offended by someone else's outfit that you'd threaten to ruin it and potentially physically assault them. That's taking wedding etiquette way too seriously. At the end of the day, it's just a dress. Hailey and Justin got married, they had a beautiful ceremony, and everyone celebrated. The color of Kylie's dress didn't change any of that. So what's the takeaway from all of this drama? I think there are a few lessons here. First, wedding guest attire is subjective, and what one person considers appropriate, another might find offensive. There's no universal standard, especially when it comes to high-profile celebrity weddings. Second, it's important to consider the couple's relationship with their guests. If Kylie and Hailey are friends and Hailey was fine with the dress, then everyone else's opinion is kind of irrelevant. Third, people on the internet love to have opinions about things that don't affect them, and celebrity fashion is an easy target for that. And finally, Kylie's response to the controversy years later shows a level of confidence and self-assurance that's actually pretty admirable. She's not cowering or over-apologizing. She's owning her choices, explaining her thought process, and setting the record straight. That "Hailey, call me if you have an issue" line is iconic, because it's her way of saying, I'm not gonna let strangers on the internet make me feel bad about something the bride herself was fine with. At the end of the day, this dress will probably go down in history as one of the most controversial wedding guest outfits ever. People will be debating it for years to come. Fashion students might study it as an example of celebrity fashion risk-taking. It's become part of pop culture lore, and love it or hate it, you can't deny that it made an impact. What do you think about Kylie's gold dress? Was it inappropriate for a wedding, or were people overreacting? Do you think wedding guests should be able to wear whatever they want as long as the bride approves, or are there certain rules that everyone should follow regardless? And most importantly, would you have the confidence to wear something that bold to a friend's wedding? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I really want to hear different perspectives on this because it's such a divisive topic. If you enjoyed this deep dive into celebrity wedding drama, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this. I've got so many more fashion controversies and celebrity stories to break down, and you're definitely not going to want to miss them. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.